But what I thought I'd do this evening is actually give a bit of a rundown of our overall thoughts. I've actually picked up all of these major caches. That is unfortunate, but that's all right. Let's just keep an eye on what various maps are popping up, or events are popping up. I thought we'd talk about our general experience in Janthir Wilds, because honestly, it has been a bit of a banger of an expansion. Because yeah, honestly, in terms of quality of expansions, I would put this up with at least Heart of Thorns and Path of Fire as well. Not Heart of Thorns, Path of Fire. Heart of Thorns, no, we've done it again. Path of Fire and End of Dragons. I think it holds up really, really well. The overall maps I really enjoy. We got Lowland Shore, you got Janthir Sentry, and I really like what they've done with the events in general. The fact that they have tied the events into the completion of the hearts. Because now whenever you complete a event, you get progress towards a heart, or get an item that you can exchange for progress towards a heart. I think that's a really nice change. It takes events, hearts, merges them together, makes them more rewarding. You get a whole bunch of extra materials and currencies for completing hearts daily, which I think is a good thing. And I really love the overall event density as well in Lowland Shore and Janthir Sentry. Lowland Shore in particular. Lowland Shore is like an absolute god tier map. It's among the best maps that I have ever seen them make. Actually, I love the cozy vibes of it. I love the fact that they have included such verticality in the map as well, so you get great use of the mounts. But yeah, I do like the fact you get extra wars for completing the hearts daily, and you don't have to do the actual tedious minutia of the hearts to get progress towards them. You can just do events, and the events spawn so quickly, which has been like a big issue with other expansions where you require like a lot of events to go and unlock masteries, do all that jazz, get a bunch of progression, but they take a long time to spawn. It sucks having to wait a long time for events to spawn, whereas the fact they spawn so quickly here means the wait's nowhere near as bad. And it's just more fun. The map feels alive, people are always doing events, the maps are rewarding as well. Honestly, it just feels fun to roam around, and the vibe in the maps is fantastic. A bit less so in Janthir Sentry. You've got more of the dark, ominous, rainy feel compared to the warm, cozy vibes in Lowland Shore. But it's still a fun map, but Lowland Shore is definitely the standout, I think. Yeah, Homestead, they're a separate thing in and of themselves, a completely like expansion selling feature. One that I haven't dived too much into yet because our gold is earmarked for 10 legendaries, because it is a big gold sink and long-term progression thing for new players, not just new players, just players in general. So that's a really good system. But I think Janthir Sentry, that could use a few more events as well. It's got a decently cool map-wide meta events. It's basically just kill 2 bosses at the same time, but the bosses are interesting to look at. The mechanics are fairly fun. It's not too difficult, especially now that it has been fixed, so the map or the bosses just don't bug. Well, bug less. I'm not sure if they're like 100% fixed, but yeah, the fact they fixed up a lot of the bugs that appeared on launch is fantastic. I do like the adventures they put in. We spent many, many hours in the salmon adventures in Lowland Shore to finally get gold for them so we could get all the mastery points we needed. That cost us our sanity a bit, but they were very good fun. Many memes were had, especially when we were streaming for like 14 hours. And the fact that gathering in this maps is also quite a profitable thing to do as well. It's just nice. It's nice just to be able to roam around the map, do things, get progress towards a whole bunch of things, and just get some gold along the way. They feel very fun to roam around in. It definitely feels like an expansion made for solo players, which honestly, it's nice. It's nice just to be able to spend time in a map and just know that you're making good use of your time in terms of farming, which is great. Because a lot of maps in Guild Wars 2, they're very much focused around like doing the meta event, farming the loot, or the high roll chance for like an infusion or something, and then you move on to the next map. So just a map that sort of rewards you for spending time in it. That's good. You love the fish adventures. I love them as well. They absolutely broke us during drops week, but we got gold in them, and I still have to do that again on my NA account. So yeah, that's going to be a whole thing. But the fact that you're incentivized to complete events and still complete the hearts each day, it's a good system. It takes advantage of systems that are already in Guild Wars 2, which is great. Overall, I quite enjoy the story. I like hearing about the politics now that we have moved past the Elder Dragon cycle, so I think that is interesting. Voice acting was great. I love the new Lowland Coden. They're just very endearing, they're just nice characters, honestly. Like, what can you really say about it? They're just nice to be around, to be honest. I do wish the story was a bit less dialogue heavy. It's not too bad the first time you go through it, but when you're trying to go through missions a second time to get achievements, the fact that you can't skip dialogue does mean it drags on quite a bit. And that's a very good point as well. The masteries weren't oppressively grindy compared to launch Soto masteries. Very true, and especially compared to things like Heart of Thorns. There's a few different like examples that stand out in terms of really, really grindy mastery points. Heart of Thorns, one, because you required so many mastery points and just so much sheer experience. And then you have Iceberg Saga, not an expansion, but nonetheless requires so many mastery points, and so many of them are like just really annoying to get. Those two really sort of stand out as pain points in terms of like getting mastery points. So the fact we didn't really have that, mastery points was quite generous with them overall. The achievements to get them were fairly straightforward and they don't require too much experience. And because you do have rifts that you can farm in these new maps to get your sort of new rift essences, oh, this is going very poorly. You can get your new rift essences. They're a great way to farm experience as well. So overall, like in a few days, we were maxed out on mastery points without any real issue. But overall, I enjoy the story. I'm keen to see where they go. I do like the fact we don't just have like another completely world-ending threat. It feels like they're taking their time with it. The characters are great. I enjoy the new maps. I'm keen to see where the story goes. I'm not a huge story player in general in Guild Wars 2. It's not why I play it. I play Guild Wars 2 more for the gameplay and just for the sheer love of the community. But I enjoyed it. And Hot in terms of mastery is crazy grind compared to Path of Fire. Oh yeah, like Path of Fire, they really toned down the amount of experience you need to farm for as well as mastery points. It was really stark. Now we also got spears as well, and overall, compared to Secrets of the Obscure, the introduction of spears has been, I think, overall a resounding success compared to the new weapons that were released with Secrets of the Obscure. I think obviously the spears at the moment in general are more overtuned compared to a lot of other weapons, which can just be toned down in balance, and I believe we're probably getting a balance patch later this week as well, which will probably address a lot of the outliers. Looking at you, Condi Renegade. But the fact they are tuned to be so strong means people are jumping on them to take advantage of it, which I think is fantastic. Overall, I think it's just a great decision for Arena to, even though things are a bit broken for now, it means people can get in, enjoy the new spears, because there is a massive inertia in changing your build. If something is not significantly better, just really people are not going to change their build. People will just stick to what they know because it's quite expensive to change up builds as well. So the fact that they are strong means people jump on it, means Arena gets more feedback, means we get to enjoy the new things, and overall I find spears to be quite fun to use as well. So I think that's been fantastic. Basically all the spears I've tried, at the very least, feel fun to use. And it's very easy to tune numbers. It's much harder to tune the feel and mechanics of a weapon. So I enjoy what they've done. But I'm very keen to see what they do with future weapons, in terms of introducing them, whether they go the route of introducing like a single weapon to new classes, or if they do the route of introducing multiple different weapons like they did with Secrets of the Obscure. And eventually they will run out of weapons though, so we'll have to see what they do. But overall, spears I think are fantastic. Are you enjoying having a bear house? A good point to touch on homesteading as well. I have not played with that much homesteading because so much of our gold is earmarked for other things. And also on this account, it's a bit weird actually. We've spent most of Janthir Wilds playing on our EU account, which doesn't have the home instance setup that our NA account does. Our NA account home instance is not full, but it's reasonably well stacked. So sort of in terms of farming a home instance, it's just not a thing we can really do. But we have like messed around a little bit with decorating. It is fun. I like the decoration system that like the controls and the fine tuning you get. They've done a really good job in that. But yeah, homesteading is basically just a super juiced up version of the existing home instance system combined with player housing. I do like the fact you can bring all your alt characters in there as well and just sort of have them sitting there just chilling, just vibing out. You can see all your mounts in there as well. It's a really nice way to show off your account, which I do enjoy. Now, unfortunately, you don't really get any material benefit from putting your alt characters in there as far as I know. And for all our alt characters, because we have like 20 characters on this account and 24 on our NA account, I do much prefer to have them just parked in like more profitable places because we do use them to farm up a lot of various account bound currencies. But it's a nice feature and I like seeing people with all their characters in there. And I've taken a bit of a look through Reddit as well, seeing what people are uploading for their homesteading like creations, and they look fantastic. I'm very keen to see what people can pull together, especially as homesteads are out more and more. And yet map design in this map is fantastic. We've got a rainbow there, it's beautiful. The skybox at night, absolutely exceptional. You like having something else to do in game? Oh yeah, 100%. It's a great long-term progression system for players as well. It's going to be a huge gold sink for people, which overall I think that is a good thing. Anything that takes gold out of the economy is basically universally a good thing. The map looks stunning. It absolutely does. The maps are just beautiful. But I enjoy homesteading. I'm keen to dive more into it. I'm looking forward to also amping up our EU account's homestead, or home instance really, once we are done with our legendaries. Because the fact you can just press a button and instant harvest your entire home instance, great. That's really, really good. Renowned drop rate in this map are far easier to do than those in Century. The hearts there feel like a chore for the most part, and you can barely get any renown drops. Yeah, that's what I was saying before about how I think they should introduce some more events in general, or like up the drop rate of the renowned tokens for Janthir Century, because yeah, Lowland Shore, it feels very well tuned. Like, it just feels nice to get rewarded with them and turn them in for some mad progress towards hearts. It feels fantastic. Got some great jumping puzzles as well. Had great memories doing those with Exodum during drops week. They were fantastic. And also with homesteading, the fact that it is, I think we've now, from what I've heard, started to see a lot of price increases for some lesser used materials. That's a good thing. It's a good thing for the economy. It makes overall Guild Wars 2 more rewarding for general players, which is fantastic. In terms of masteries, overall, like I mentioned this before, the amount of mastery points, it's good. It rewards you with a good amount. Doesn't take too much in terms of experience to farm them, which is fantastic. Overall, especially the Warclaw masteries, I think are fantastic. Have to go and showcase it actually. Let's get up just a little bit higher so we can showcase it. Just the mid-air jump feels absolutely fantastic. This just feels good to do. It's one of the best things about Guild Wars 2 is the fact that the mounts feel amazing to play. And this is no exception. It's a huge upgrade over Warclaw, which was basically just a useless mount before, at least in PvE, because it was just a worse raptor and jackal in every way. Whereas now, on land, this is like my go-to mount. It really is. So I absolutely love that. I love the well-rested bonus you get as well. Let's just go take a look. Increase endurance regen for all mounts by 20%. It's just great. And then when you combine that with, let us find it. Where's our Jade bot? Combine that with the mount energy booster, boost mount energy regeneration by 30%, the Jade bot upgrade. It means you can really just get some insane like endurance regen. If we just wait for a bit, we'll be able to actually showcase it. Hang on, here we go, let's start. And you can go so far with this, especially when you start combining this with the Bond of Vigor as well. And just look at us keep going. I haven't been counting how many jumps we can get, but it's a lot. And then we were starting to run out a bit now, but we're getting there. So I like the changes they've made to Warclaw. The masteries for it feel impactful. They feel great, especially the mid-air jump. That is incredible. Now, some of the other masteries, particularly in the Lowland Coden, I believe the Lowland Beehives and the Janthir Explorer Proficiency, they don't feel fantastic because effectively you just get to interact with some beehives or bloodstone charged trees or whatever to recharge your skills. It's really just adrenal mushrooms from Heart of Thorns. So that felt a little bit weird. Spending mastery points to get what you already have a mastery for in another expansion. It's just the exact same effect, so that was a bit meh. But overall, like, it's fine. Now, in terms of like the order I ended up doing the masteries, basically we got Spear first because we needed that to progress the story. We got that, and then we doubled back, and then got Feline Reflexes in Warclaw, so then we could get the mid-air jump. Then we circled back to Lowland Coden because I wanted to get the upgraded experience boost while in Janthir Wilds and also the additional currencies as well, which I don't know how impactful that is, but the experience is really nice. So the plan was to get the really impactful masteries and then speedrun the experience boost to make farming the other mastery points even quicker, which I guess it kind of worked. It was probably what I think the most efficient way to get the masteries at least. And then we touched on the homesteading ones last. Now, one thing with the homesteads, or the homesteading mastery points, the fact that you don't need that many mastery points here, and kind of the fact that you don't need much experience, don't need many mastery points, the fact you leave it to last, by the time you're ready to really delve into the home instance, you've probably already got everything here. So you don't really, or at least I didn't in the way I approached it, feel the progression of getting the masteries, which I'm grateful we didn't have to farm up as many mastery points, but we basically just unlocked everything, then went in and went, oh, cool, homestead maxed out. Bob's your uncle, we are done. But yeah, once again, I enjoy the availability of the mastery points. We've maxed out our Janthir Wilds mastery points anyway, and if we come to our achievements panel, and come down to, where are we? Janthir Wilds Mastery Point filter. We still have quite a few sitting here left for us to get, and some that would be relatively easy, especially these event collection ones here. So yeah, it was fairly chill actually getting all of the mastery points that we were working for there. And also the well-rested bonus, what you can actually do, it basically it just amps up your Griffin even more. Because now your energy regeneration on Griffin is so good. If we are losing height, it is so small, it basically doesn't matter. And we haven't even touched our Bond of Vigor yet. Which, there we go. Now we're honestly gaining height. It's functionally infinite endurance for the Griffin. Which, that's just nice. That's just a nice thing. But yeah, overall loving the masteries. The fact that Warclaw is now so juiced, I absolutely love it. I would like to see all the other mounts as well get the same treatment. But yeah, overall, in terms of the experience of this expansion, I'd put this up in... Heart of Thorns is still top for me. Heart of Thorns will basically always be top. In terms of where it sits, I'd put it, yeah, basically in line with Path of Fire and End of Dragons, and I'm very curious to see. A lot of that is based on assuming this level of quality comes in to the subsequent like patches as well, because we're going to get 3 content patches before the next expansion, so we'll have to see how it progresses after that. But I think if they can keep up this level of quality, this level of just detail, polish, I think we're going to have a very good time. So yeah, I'd put this basically in line with Path of Fire and End of Dragons, especially because this first map in particular just feels absolutely amazing. But 100% this is a huge refinement of what they did with Secrets of the Obscure. Secrets of the Obscure had some issues. It was the first expansion of its type where they're going into the new annual release cycle, and this feels like just a massive step up for it. So I'm very keen to see what they do with it overall. And I think when I was in Drops Week as well, we asked what we'd rate it, and I believe we basically said an 8.5 out of 10, which I would very much agree with now. This expansion feels fun. It still feels fun coming into these maps, even though I don't necessarily have anything that I'm really currently farming. It's just nice to be in these maps. They're rewarding maps. They're beautiful. We'll blast out this event and take a look at what is popping off in Janthir Century in a bit. But 100%, if you haven't picked up this expansion, I definitely recommend it. Spears are great. The Masters are great. Maps are great. Story's good. Warclaw's amazing. 100% recommend.